Okay, so hello and welcome. We are doing a lesson now today, actually coming to you from Pretoria, and we're going to be looking at products that result in a difference of squares. So, in other words, what do these products look like that would turn out to be a difference of squares, right? I'm not going to use the word perfect squares, I'm just going to say squares because you'll see a little bit later why it's important that we just say squares. Right, so what do these products look like? Well, I'm going to give you a clue. When we have a factor x plus y multiplied by a factor x minus y, what is that? What is the difference between these two factors? Well, if you look at the first factor, you see it has how many terms? Well, it's got two terms. The one term is x and the other term is y. And then you see this over here and you see it's also got an x and it's also got an y. But the x over here is positive and the x over here is positive. The y on this side is positive, but the y on this side is negative. So if you look and you study these two brackets, the brackets look similar. The brackets look similar, right? The brackets look similar, but they are not equivalent, right? They are not equivalent. They look similar, but they are not equivalent. In other words, this bracket is x plus y, and this bracket over here is x minus y. Okay, so before we continue, what I want you to do is I want you to work this out the long way. Remember, when I say the long way, I mean the general way in which we multiply a binomial by another binomial. So let's do that. I'll give you, pause the video, and do not take more than a minute. Okay, so I hope that you gave it a try, and let's work it out together the long way. That's x times x, which gives me x squared. That is y multiplied by y, and that's a positive times a negative, which gives me a negative, and y multiplied by y is y squared, so that thing has to be negative y squared. And then let's multiply the inside ones. That's x times y, but it's positive times negative, positive times positive, which is positive xy, and this one over here is a x times y, but it's negative x times y. Now, if before you continue, if you have to look at x times y minus x times y, what is 2 minus 2? Well, it's 0. If I have positive 2 and negative 2, they cancel one another out. What if I have positive 10 and minus 10? That gives me 0. So if I have positive xy minus xy, you have xy, you take away xy, you have no xy, right? And there we go. So what do you notice over here? That these two blue terms, they cancel out, they add up to 0. And therefore my solution becomes x squared minus y squared. Okay, so that's the first difference of squares, right? That's the product where we have a difference of squares. Let's look at another one. Let's take 1 plus p multiplied by 1 minus p. Now already you're getting to see the example over here. You're getting to see the similarities and the differences between what we're actually looking for in each factor in those brackets. That's simply 1 plus p and this is simply 1 minus p. I could have it as 1 minus p multiplied by 1 plus p. That's the same as saying 2 times 3 is equal to 3 multiplied by 2. Okay, so let's actually work this out over here. Let's do it the long way again. First times the first, the last multiplied by the last. So let's do the first one. 1 times 1, very good. It's obviously 1. And then p, positive times negative, is negative. And p times p is going to be p squared. So I have 1 minus p squared. But we didn't multiply the insides yet. So let's multiply the insides. P times 1, positive times positive is positive. 1p is just p. And then 1 multiplied by negative p is just negative p. And once again, the insides over here, this p and this minus p, they cancel out one another, and I get the following. It results in 1 minus p squared. Okay, So let's pause the video there, and then we're going to look at, in the next video, 3 more examples of these products that result in a difference of squares.